Episode 198, How to Maximize Your Morning Routine.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And we are almost at episode 200. This is episode 198 of the very best podcast in the world. Your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. Now, I think one day I'll make it through the intro without chuckling about the title and how it was originally intended otherwise. Anywho, long story short, what motivated... Jesus Christ. What motivated me to call today's episode what I called it? Yesterday, while lounging around, I came across this, one of these other self-motivation videos, a rather useless one for a change, because, these self-motivation things only last as long as, you get motivated seemingly yourself by somebody else, right? And as soon as that kind of goes away, right, that input that you get from this motivating person, imagine it like a drug, right? You're going on it and you're on the high, and you're getting shit done. But as soon as that person or that influence goes away, you get, shoved into this hellhole. And that's true for a lot of people. And that's why these kind people try to get you hooked on their programs to then rape your wallet, right? And to get you to pay for another course and another course and another course. And so how about we attempt to replace, bit by bit, these people by just results that you can achieve, for yourself, and then actually get things done in a more permanent fashion and without having to pay that, that hooker that actually tries to get, get money out of your wallet. And that sounds easier than it actually is. But one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is finding the flow into the morning, right? And that's what I've been noticing talking to friends. It's like, they get up, they have their coffee, and they just blow into the day without a plan and, check their phones and, all of those good things. Like, a lot of people do that, right? They get up in the morning, first thing they do is to check their phone, which is kind of absurd in a variety of ways. But, you want to know what's been going on Instagram. You want to know what's been going on Facebook. You want to know who texted you. You want to know who called you overnight, maybe even. You want to know who wrote you an email, right? And there's time for that later. And there are a lot of other issues that, I want to get down to, categorized into four main categories. So without further ado, well, there is further ado because we actually need to go to the housekeeping. So, number one, thoughts are my own, blah, 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 blah. Number two, sharing is caring. So if this episode may seem helpful to someone beside yourself, share it with them, right? If you think it is very valuable, which all episodes are, by the way, just share it with the whole world, in that you just, blow it out through your social media channels and so on and so forth. Housekeeping over. Now, without further ado, let us get started. So how do you maximize your morning routine? Well, number one, it's like to avoid getting into an unstructured day. It's like the most logical thing would be to plan your day ahead the night before. And we don't want to necessarily be using our phone because of the light and the radiation and yada, yada, yada. And so it's back to the good old journal, the notebook on your bedside table. Now, I went into this quite a few episodes ago with a friend of mine that had difficulties falling asleep because she said, she had her head full of stuff that she wanted to do the next day. Right. And that's actually what it's about, right? You write down the stuff you want to do the next day. If you are that kind of person that needs a little bit of extra guidance, just plan your day a bit ahead, just bullet points, not any novels being written down about what you want to do and what you want to get done. It's just about how to structure your day generally. There's certain things you need to do, during business hours. It's like calling people, and everything else, the people who don't really respond well to email, you have to call them. And then you have, people you can write emails to. You want to contact them at night because, business hours are over. Why not ruin their day or their morning by shitting in their inbox, right? And so, there's a lot of stuff you can do to prepare the next day and to avoid wasting time while, sitting at your, over your breakfast, and trying to figure out how the day is going to be. That's already time wasted because, at nighttime is just the most creative. So a little bit easier to solve those kind of things the night before you actually start the next day. Next thing, I already kind of spoilered it, but don't look at your phone. Start your day without external influences and distractions. The morning is about yourself and your day, period. No questions asked. So any distractions, and I'm not just talking about the phone. That was just pars pro toto. Leave the television off, leave the news off. There's enough time in the rest of the day to ruin your day by all of the doom and gloom being spread by the media. So leave that off and spend time with yourself. A lot of people use the time to journal, and to take all of those thought fragments that you put down the night before and kind of categorize and organize them, right? If you want to do that over breakfast, fine, but leave the phone on the hook. Or, do they still, no, they don't have hooks anymore, but you know what I mean, right? So that's actually the thing to get you going. And I know it's tempting to pick up the phone in the morning because you got to know what's been going on in the office, what's been going on in the world. And at the end of the day, you're not going to change it, right? That's the thing you have to realize, right? It's about reading the newspaper and watching the news and listening to the news. And it's like, what are you going to do about it if, a petroleum factory in Uzbekistan blows up? Yeah, there's going to be economical impacts, right? But they're going to be there later in the day also. Right? That's the interesting bit about that. We're kind of fixated towards the expectation of changing something by, actually listening to the news and watching the news and whatever first thing in the morning. We're kind of indoctrinated to do that. And that indoctrination is kind of wrong, right? Because be there, for your loved ones, right? For your family. Share the precious time with them. You're going to be out on your way to the office early enough. Kids are going to be off to school and that's it. That's the time you wasted preferring work over private life. So the next aspect, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'm trying to be, is exercise. And yes, the physical one, not the kind of thing we do on Fridays where you don't have to get up off the couch while listening to this podcast. Exercise in the morning, gets your blood flowing and gets you into kind of a state of action, right? And if you're the lazy person like me, you may want to prefer a cold shower to get your blood boiling. or freezing for that sense, right? But it's something to stimulate your physique, to get you up and running in the morning, and then to start the day with, good blood flow, not the good old sleepy blood flow that you have from getting out of bed, but actually cleansing off the night, and doing that kind of ordeal to start fresh into a new day. That's, what a lot of people forget. It's like this ritual where you cleanse off the last day, start the new one. And, for a lack of better advice, just, try and see it as that, the exercise combined with the shower you're going to take afterwards, or just a cold shower, whatever type of person you are. I know that's what I wanted to mention, that's a good piece of advice that a lot of people give, with all of these rich and famous and successful folks, what they do, right? They get up in the morning, they go to the gym, and, and all of a sudden it's 12 o'clock and they're like, when the hell do you work? And that's very difficult. For normal people, it's rather difficult to include something like that into your morning routine. So kudos to you if you still make it, despite the odds being against you in such a way, right? Next, last but not least, is meditate. Now, meditation in the morning helps you, begin the day in a more centered and positive tone and increase your awareness, for the day. And there's a couple of things, don't imagine the esoteric meditation of, sitting and humming necessarily as being the go-to thing, right? If you listen to the Stoics, you're going to figure out that, what I mentioned before, journaling can also be a type of meditation where you write down your thoughts, maybe your dreams, maybe the things that pop into your head in the de facto most productive time of the day, right? You've got this trade-off. You've got productivity in the morning, creativity later at night. That's true for really, really, really a lot of people. So where do you go? Right? So, take all of the things that you have in your creative part of the day, the night, and transport that into action in the morning. That's actually the logical consequence. If, conventional breath meditation is your thing, by all means, go ahead, and organize your thoughts there, increase your awareness. We've been talking about that repeatedly, how important awareness is to appreciate and to live the present moment to its fullest, so I don't want to put that down. But whatever suits your fancy is the thing you have to figure out to get going in the morning. So I hope that these 4 categories, start your morning the night before. Don't look at your phone in the morning. Exercise or the cold shower regime just to get your circulation up and running. And meditation. I hope these 4 categories, however you fill them, will help you be as, productive and your good kick into the day, as much as possible. Was that a sentence? I don't know. So in any case, we're going to wrap this up here before I start, blabbing even more BS. Have a good day. If you've already had your good day, have a good night. And we'll be in touch tomorrow when we're going to be talking about preventing burnout. There we go. Now we got it. Peace out. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow, folks. Bye.